Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining this panel discussion. And I just introduced the people who organized this this discussion. Before that, a little bit. Let me explain about the three countries friendship. As Asian civic tech communities, Korea and Taiwan and Japan and Hong Kong communities have been cultivating their strong friendships because we have similar culture and also we can collaborate as Asian civic hacking communities. So we have been learning many things from each other's countries. So the facing the ocean is also one of such kind of a friendship project, and the Pomin will organize the panel session. So please give applause to the Pomin. So I will give you mic to Pomin. Thank you.
Thank you, Halu-san. As Halu-san has just introduced us, this is a regional network that we and a lot of other people are working together to build. We have people from Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Japan and South Korea, and we call this network Facing the Ocean also because we feel that the four countries like us are all located on the western part of the Pacific Ocean, and we seem to think that this is a good metaphor to refer to the common obstacles of future that we're both facing. And let me just share the slide, share screen so that you can see our slide, and I will begin talking about our subject for today. Okay, and can everyone see the slide? Okay. Very briefly about myself, I'm a mathematician by training and a computer programmer by profession. I care a lot about ethics, especially in the context of society and technology. And in recent years, I've been devoting more and more time in building communities, one of which is GovZero, which is the civic hacking community in Taiwan that I am part of, and we like to call ourselves nobody in the community, which I will explain the reason later. And the other is Facing the Ocean Meet and Hack, of which I'm one of the co-organizers. The next would be Ohyeon. Maybe you want to introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Ohyeon. I'm from Korea. And as Lauren explained, I founded a party for democracy and currently co-organizer of FTO. And we are rebooting civic hacking community or network in Korea as Code of Korea. And next, Mami-san.
Hi, I'm Miley from Korea, Japan, and I'm a PhD student of child development, and I also work for the Parti Co-op, which support children with disabilities. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so I will start by some introduction about FTO, or Facing the Ocean, and we'll talk about the story behind it, what is FTO, why we started it, and how it works so far. And then I will, each of the three of us will talk a little bit about the background we have within the communities in our own countries. And then we'll take questions from the audience. So if you have any questions or any ideas that you feel like to share with us, please just post those ideas in the chat. So what is FTO? To me, FTO is just a bunch of people that are hosting regular hackathons and also have an online chat room that we are constantly exchanging ideas and exchanging the situations in our respective countries and sharing our experiences. And what probably makes this network or group of people a little more special is that we have people from, as we said, Japan, South Korea, Hong Kong, and Taiwan that are all actively involved in the network. And the FTO Meet and Hack itself is a regular hackathon event that all of us are working together to put together. And we have been hosting these kind of hackathons since 2019. And so far we have had 2 of these events, and we hope that this would become a regular event where we can come together and work together. So also, not only to work together, but we also hope to have fun together because the very first project in FTO network was brought up during a meetup over some coffees in 2018. Some of us was attending OGP Asia in Seoul during that time. And during an exchange over some coffees, somehow some of us had brought up that the feeling that things are getting too serious for all of this. And we would like to have some chance to do something stupid and funny and just to relax, but also could be meaningful. So some of us came up with an idea about an SGP. SGP stands for Civic Government Partnership, which is a project that we hope that people from each country would propose stupid government construction projects of their own countries. And we can share these projects and maybe make fun of them and maybe vote for the most stupid projects among all these countries. So the pictures on the right side of the slide you see are some of the projects that were brought up in the meetup. One of them is in Taiwan. Taiwanese government likes to build stupid statues of things which we usually don't know the meaning of. So that's one of the statues. And the other project was brought up by Ohyeon here, I think. It's about Seoul City construction plan of canals in South Korea. So with that in mind, we started to organize an event that we can meet physically at some place. And as you might be able to see in this picture, we started to reach out to the networks within our country to find help. So Ohyeon found connected to many other civic hacking groups and communities in South Korea and brought them to events to work with others to collaborate on projects. Mami-san also brought in her friends in the social enterprises, and Haru-san connected with Yamasada-san in Okinawa City so that we can find a venue there to host that event. And the reason we chose Okinawa City for the event is because it's sort of the geographical center of these 4 places, so that people would probably have an easier time traveling there. But none of us are actually really based in Okinawa City. So we totally relied on Haru-san that reached out to Yamasada-san, and also who then reached out to Toyo-san in Okinawa City, who is extremely helpful in our first event. Toyo-san is running a startup incubator and co-working space in Okinawa City called Startup Lagoon. So they provided venues and local foods and a very luxurious welcoming party for all of the attendees. So we had a very good time there. And me and a few other people in the GovZero community, including Isabel and Hao, reached out in Taiwanese Civic Hack Circle, and we found some funding from OCF, Open Cultural Foundation, to support the event. And these are the resources we gathered for the event. And as for how we work together, because we are all sort of geographically separated from each other, we have to resort to online tools for meeting and organizing things. So we had a regular Google Meetup or online Meetup to discuss the matters monthly. And we used Google Spreadsheet and Google Drive and HackMD, which is a online collaborative note tool to plan things out. And we also, with some experiences from GovZero in Taiwan, also set up the format following the GovZero hackathon we have been having in Taiwan to help framing the events a little bit better so that people can collaborate better, which I will explain later how GovZero works. So we are very lucky to have our first event successfully held in Okinawa in 2019 in June. Our attendees to GovZero Hackathon said that that was the most kick-ass, hardworking group of people they have seen in a long time. So we finished a few projects there, and everyone exchanged a lot of ideas about how we can move on and keep having these kind of events together. So a lot of us are showing the problems within our countries and trying to draw interest from people from other countries to work together. So there were a lot of cross-country or international collaborations within the event. And I guess this, for me, is a first test run of an idea like this across country and a regional hackathon event that people have to travel together and overcome the language barrier to work together. So there were a lot of glitches here and there, and we're still trying to adjust things, fixing smaller things to make things more smoothly. But I guess nothing cannot be smoothed out by some beer. So we had a lot of beer, and things worked out really well. And that's the reason we went on to have plans and organizing works to other similar events. So the second Meet and Hack happened in Taiwan near the end of 2019. This time there were 80 people coming to the event, or I think almost double to compared to the first time we had this. And people from this is a event that are co-organized or co-happening with a regular GovZero hackathon. So on one side of the event, the venue, we have a regular GovZero bi-monthly hackathon, and the people from Meet and Hack are mixed into those crowds and working together. And we also try to have a third event, which was going to happen in August this year in Jeju in South Korea. So for the obvious reason of COVID-19, this is postponed for now. But you probably begin to see an obvious pattern that we like to choose locations for vacations for our hackathon events, so that people are having a good time here and also can work on something that feels meaningful and could be a recharging of their daily routines. Since this year we can no longer host a physical meetup. We try to have online meetup. So we had a FTO Anywhere online meetup where we talk about the pressing issues at the time. And the first one was about COVID-19. We share our experiences and city hacking projects of each country and our views of the government's COVID-19 actions at the time. So the third or fourth FTO Meet and Hack will happen in Taiwan near the end of this year. This time it will be co-hosted. It will be part of the track of GovZero Summit, which will be happening in December 3rd to December 6th. This will be a separated track, and we will have the regular attendees of Meet and Hack, FTO Meet and Hack, to a separate venue, so that we can have a whole day of a hackathon like we had before. But these attendees are also welcome to join the GovZero Summit following those days. So this is the basic idea and framing of the FTO Meet and Hack. And if you are interested in joining or just to discuss about the idea of FTO, you are welcome to join one of the Slack channels of our communities, which are listed here on the slide. Okay, so next I will talk about a little bit about my background and about the community I'm most active in, which is GovZero in Taiwan. And for those of you who haven't heard of GovZero, the name GovZero comes from replacing the letter O from Gov by the number 0. So that makes it look cooler. But also that we hope to express that we would like to reinvent everything that are governing us from ground zero, and to restart building things that we believe will be in a better way. So to me, or some of us in GovZero, we would like to refer to GovZero as a set of a group of pits as in pits on the ground, and also a group of people around the pits, and also a series of hackathons that are driving these people and these pits. What we mean is that when any one of us are seeing a problem in the society that we would like to fix, we like to refer to the problem as, we like to refer to the task of fixing the problem as a pit. So if you decided that you would like to fix the problem yourself, you jump into the pit and stay there until the pit is filled or the problem is fixed. And we use the metaphor quite extensively. So as sometimes we really mean that digging a pit for someone, as in entrapping someone to a problem so that he or she would dedicate herself to fix it. And that's how we think a community is organized. A pit is there, and if you see a pit, you are free to take ownership of it and to fix it. And those who feel responsible or connected to the pit are those who circle around the pit and trying to fix it. And to support these people and these tasks of fixing the pits, we try to host a series of hackathons so that they can gather together physically and gather around the pit or gather around the table to discuss their next step and to work together. So we have a few mottos in GovZero community, sorry. The first one is don't ask nobody for nothing. You're the nobody. Or it's a rough translation from Mandarin. In Mandarin, what often happen when we first starting when the people who first started the GovZero community is that they would do some incredible projects to fix some problems and brilliantly, and then a lot of people would come and say, hey, there's another problem there. Why don't you fix it? Why is there nobody fixing this or that? And after some time, some of us started to find a tactic by answering them that, oh, don't ask nobody for nothing. You're the nobody who is going to dedicate your time and energy to fix it. So we try to use this motto to remind people that when something concerns you a lot, aside from asking others to fix it for you, you always have the option, the choice to take ownership of the problem and fix it yourself. And by doing so, it is a kind of statement or announcement to others around you that you are going to do this. And if there is anyone with you, that would be even better. But if there's no one, you are still going to fix it. So that's what we mean when we say, don't ask nobody for nothing. You are the nobody. And the next motto is nobody represents GovZero. Because like I said, most of the social problems are very big and is in scale that you cannot fix by your own. They are not usually unfixable by a single person. So we must recruit and find friends and alliances to fix these problems. And by to do that, to do comrades and friends in fixing this piece, we must discuss and speak and talk to each other. But when we are doing that, we are only speaking for ourselves. Nobody represents GovZero means GovZero as a perspective recognize that every one of us has a different view in almost anything. And when I'm here talking about GovZero, I'm talking about my own view of GovZero, and so does everyone else within the community. So nobody represents GovZero. But there comes a wordplay here actually, because we just mentioned that we always reply people that you are the nobody who's going to fix the things. So in a sense, everyone is nobody. So when we say nobody represents GovZero, we can also alter the meaning to mean that everyone represents her own view of GovZero. So this means GovZero is a community without a lot of organizational structure. If you want to take things to your hand, you are free to do so. You don't have to ask anyone for permission. And your work your contribution to the community represents yourself. And you don't have to ask people, you don't have to please people here. You don't have to ask everyone else agreement before you decided to do something. Your action is the statement itself. So this picture is one of the hackathon events that I mentioned. In this event, these kind of events we usually have about 120 people or more who are here to co-work for a day. And a GovZero hackathon could be said to have its own particular structure. It is not a competition. It is not a challenge. It is not a prize. You're not here to work for some physical rewards. You're here to work, and a hackathon usually starts with a short session of people anyone who wants to propose a project that he or she will be working on today can go upstairs and propose their projects. And if you don't have any proposals that day, you can hear out those projects and find one that you are interested in and go to find that person that proposed the project, who we usually call pitmaster, and to collaborate with him or her. That will be all for the day, actually. And in between, we would spend a lot of time talking to each other, exchanging ideas, and also eating. So to support these kind of spontaneous, half spontaneous or insurgent activities, we try to build infrastructures under these series of events. So GovZero now has a dedicated task force called Jeju, which is responsible or takes charge in holding hackathons every 2 months. They will book a venue so that people can gather physically, or they would provide online infrastructures for people to meet online to discuss and talk about their projects. That's one of the most important infrastructure in GovZero community, so that we can keep people going. And the other very important infrastructure is, as you can see in the slide, is food. We usually supply a lot of food within GovZero events, because food provides, of course, energy, but also provides a chance for you to talk, to stay in the place and talk to each other and discuss about various topics and build connections among people. So food and hackathons are probably the two most important infrastructures that some people in GovZero community are working very hard to keep everyone fulfilled and happy. So that's my personal introduction to the basic of GovZeros. And as I said, everyone only represents his or her own view of GovZero. So what I'm saying here is inevitably personally speaking of the matter. So I will take a little bit more time to share my view of FTO, which is our subject today, and its connection to me, to GovZero. So the most important personal experience I had in FTO is that we stand together. In the slide, this is one of the projects that was incarnated or was kept working on in the first FTO hackathon, Meet and Hack in Okinawa. It was proposed by a few Hong Kong activists at the time. During that Meet and Hack, it was mid-June in 2019, and the Hong Kong government was going to pass the extradition law. And the biggest protest in Hong Kong to that day against this bill hadn't happened yet. So Hong Kongers are not really sure what is the general opinion of this bill and what would things fall out. But anyway, it didn't fall out. It fall out of any one of us imagination. But at the time, they were doing an information website of the bill that was going to be passed, and they made a prototype of the website. They brought the prototype to the event, to the Meet and Hack, FTO Meet and Hack, and seek for help in translation. And I only helped a bit, but a lot of people put a lot of time in helping translating those messages. First from, I believe, from Mandarin to English, and then from English to Japanese and Korean, so that we can help spread the message. And this is a project I feel especially connected to myself, because as the Taiwanese, of course, we are naturally connected with Hong Kong people, because we are geographically quite close to each other, and many of us have been traveling between these two places. But the extradition bill was a news for me, was a story for me, which I could logically understand its implication, but it didn't really connect it to myself as it is now. Because when I'm involved in this project, it feels that this thing has become a thing of my own, and I own part of the problem that I wish to see it being fixed. So to me, that's the kind of connections between people that are built in collaboration and co-working that I personally most wanted to see happen in events like FTO and GovZero Scholar Hackathons. So when we were starting to plan an FTO event, personally for me, I don't want it to be a conference or just a talk, a series of talks that people share about their own projects. I want something that we can work on together and we can co-own a problem and to see it being fixed together. And that's why this project from Hong Kong connects to me deeply, even to now. And the other thing that I feel I got the most from FTO events is that we have to remind ourselves to stay mobilized. This is the GovZero Summit that will be happening at the end of this year. And this, well, you can say GovZero Summit is a huge pit that are regularly coming up each 2 years in GovZero community, and people would jump into the pit to complete the huge task of holding an international conference. And I myself is in the pit now this year, and also the last time in 2018. And the reason I spend more and more time in this kind of pit is I feel we must, although a community like GovZero is very diverse and people are doing their own things, they're doing their own things in very different directions. I do feel we still need a place we can feel safe and talk to each other about our directions, so that we can freely move between a more institutionalized position to a more mobilized or even mob-like position. And I think I really hope FTO and GovZero Summit can provide these kind of environments for every city hackers in this region. And by that, I also think more and more after FTO events that we should try to be the safety net for each other. This project is herstory of East Asia, which I think Millie will mention later. By sharing, it is a timeline to share feminist events happening in each of our countries. By sharing these stories, I believe we are letting each other know that we are not alone in this world and building a safety net for each other. And also, a safety net must be built with beer and meat and food. So I think that's the most valuable things I was getting from FTO. And finally, something that has been coming to my mind quite often is that those who are not with us when we are hosting events, organizing events. I like to think of those people who are not in the event, who are not attending this event, whether they are unable to or they just feel like leaving the community for now. And to me, it is not only those people are attending the event and active in the community that are important. I also want to spend a lot of time concerning people who are not with us at the moment and to think about what we can do to them. So this project is one I'm personally involved in. On the right, it is an online memorial of an activist in our community. He passed away earlier this year. He has been a professor in an institution, Academia Sinica, who has been helping out open source activities a lot. And I think communities who can join together and build an online memorial for these people that has been with us in a way as an online game, which is kind of stylish, is the kind of community I really want to have and want to build. So that's all I have for now. I hope I'm not taking too much time.
It's good. Okay, let's share my slide and I will introduce. Okay. How can I? Yeah, and my name is Ohyeon and I'm from Korea. And I will introduce our Parti Co-op shortly and read a talking story of Code for Korea in Korea. Parti Co-op is a social cooperative of democracy activists in Korea. We believe in new digital era, we have chances to innovate democracy with digital technology. So we are activists to focus on better and more democracy for our society based on open source and open data philosophy. So we believe we need more detailed approach to our society to make better democracy. So we need more tools and platforms, etc. And Parti has 5 teams to handle various areas of society. And there are platforms for each of the area. We have platforms for collaborative community, citizen participation platform, town hall meetings, public data and archives and campaigns, etc. And we also made open toolkits for various situations. For example, when we operate a democracy platform of Seoul Metropolitan Government, we organized an open detailed guide and checklist what we used in the government. And as democracy activists, we use our platforms and toolkits for real-world actions. So we tried one each party, policy making with Seoul City government, crowdsourcing lawmaking for gender issues, nomad demonstration in Starbucks in front of National Assembly. And as a citizen and a civic hacker, we have been contributing Jeju Party facing the ocean, Code for Korea community now. Parti wants to build digital infrastructure for better democracy in the digital era. In Korea, we had a similar experience like Hangul in 1446 and associate infrastructures like laws in 1980s and 60s, but we don't have enough infrastructure for people on internet. So we want to be one of the players to build the democracy foundation for all people in use digital age. And Parti expects this foundation will be real life necessities for life. This is the introduction of Parti as a democracy activist with digital technology. And we also have been doing civic hacking project in Korea with citizens. So we are participating facing the ocean. And in our network, we are collaborating and sharing various information. One of the important examples is backstock mask stock open data. When Taiwan government and civic hackers in Taiwan released mask stock open data, Code for Japan introduced the story in Japan, and in Korea, we translated it in Korean too. Moreover, Parti and other COVID-19 civic hackers gathered as COVID-19 Open Data Alliance. We made a proposal about COVID-19 open data to our government. This is our actual proposal document. As you can see, we summarize the background, core values, data sets, and principles what we expect. We prepared some real examples for precise data set, not to confuse government officers. So you can see what data we wrote as examples as a spreadsheet. Luckily, our government was already preparing public mask policy at the time. When our mask stock policy first started, almost at the same time, mask stock apps made by civic hackers and startups also released together. We civic hackers and government can prepare this open data, open API, also lots of apps together from the beginning of the policy. This explores our collaboration between government, big tech companies, civic hackers, and pharmacies. With this collaboration in Korea, we can provide public mask API and app in real time, reliable, stable, and quick, and massively. COVID-19 Open Data Alliance did also a role to gather people to make an app, test the API and data in 2 or 3 days. Now, there are 200 more developers that joining in this project, and there are so many apps. And we also made the COVID-19 Open Data Handbook to guide people in developing mask apps. This is the image of our handbook which describes how to join community, how to contribute to this guide, how to use Maskstock API, how to register your app quickly, etc. At the same time, National Information Agency and some big tech company like KT, Naver also provided cloud servers whoever want to develop Mask app. So we also add some guide about how to get a cloud, etc. As you can see, we use same API endpoint altogether operated by Naver. 90 million API calls per day occurred and 7 billion maximum calls per hour on first day. Lots of apps were developed, but because so many people want to know stock status, apps made by Civic hackers were used widely. But like data API were provided by big tech company Naver, Mask apps also were on the same cloud servers provided by tech company like KT. So app and API services were quite stable, even though it was in the first day. Just within 2 weeks from the beginning, an app and API were developed in a week. And I was also in Japan during the project. So we can overcome the mask situation a little quietly. And this experience leaves a huge benefits and trust in citizens. And also government realized more to overcome COVID-19 situations. Government should trust and collaborate more with lots of citizens. We talked with officers what data we will release next together. Other open data like this, we requested release from government, released from the every data released. And geo-open data is also opened like the beach cloudiness of 15 more famous beaches in Korea. And moreover, open data policy became key principles and strategies in government's digital Jeju deal plans. And COVID-19 Open Data Alliance is now became Code for Korea. In Korea, lots of civic hacking communities and projects already exist, but we didn't connect well. So we are trying to small communities to work together and also connect government and companies. We are re-networking people again from now. And as you can see in this session, Facing the Ocean Friends have been doing network and introduced the importance of civic hacking in each countries. This picture was taken when we invited Hal and Now from Code for Japan to young activists in Korea. We shared many interesting stories of each country. We did a small collaboration like translation into own languages. We invite each other to each country, as many as possible, to introduce civic hacking and enjoy foods together. I think as our Asian civic hacking network is growing, our society also realized the importance of civic hacking. I expect, yeah. And next, Mami-san, please.
Sorry, we only have 3 minutes left. So yeah, please. Yeah, if you have some questions, please write down comments. I will answer in Twitter or somewhere. So yeah, Mami-san, can you explain your activity very briefly? Sorry.
Okay, I will try. Wait a minute. Can I share the slide? Yeah, sorry. Wait a minute. Can you see that? No?
Okay.
Okay. So quickly, I will talk about Code for Japan. The tagline is think together and create together. This picture is taken in the Code for Japan Summit 2019, and Ohyeon Kweon and I am in this picture. And we have more than 80 brigades from Hokkaido to Okinawa, mainly the one for Nagoya, but we also have some brigade for not only for the places, but also for the topics for hackathon, like Code for Cat or Code for Youth. So that's wait a minute. Okay. One of the participants from Okinawa wrote the issues about the poverty of children in Okinawa. We made a prototype of search site for parents to find the welfare services and benefits. A person in charge of the welfare division of Okinawa City Hall happened to be there, and later his team updated similar functions on the web page of Okinawa City's website. She was a non-tech person, but with the influence of COVID-19, now she tries to make some new prototype for Okinawa. And this is about the collaboration with the hackathon in Japan to facing the ocean to Taiwan. And I will cut this, okay? And this is the example of the collaboration. One of the contributors from Taipei shared the gender issue in East Asia in FTO1 in Okinawa. She made the map of the history about gender issue, which is called herstory. FTO2 in Tainan, she was working on the other project. So the last day when we shared about our thoughts, Mi-sang from Korea and I requested her to restart herstory. So we still continue to have online meeting with contributors from Taiwan, Hong Kong, Korea, and Japan. And like next week, we also have the meeting. And another collaboration from the feedback is it's called School. And that's from Gabzer Taiwan, and I talked about the collaboration about education at the last day of FTO2. Then we plan to reunite. And 2 months later, Bess invited me to join the kickoff meeting of school project. And so I went there and talked about the thing that I did in Japan and what I want to do with Tainan at the time. And I was inspired by the school project. We made home class timetable at the beginning of COVID-19 pandemic. This is the web applications that enables teachers work at elementary schools to tell their teaching plans to students who cannot come to schools. For Japan is developing the application in case of the second or third spike of COVID-19 infection. And this project is operated by contributors. Most of them are university and high school students in Japan. Yeah, and it's the same thing with the thing that PM5 told. We eat and share the food together again and again. And sometimes we sing and dance together. And I believe in the power of the collaborations, and the best collaborations comes from the becoming companies by sharing everyday things together. So meet and eat, sing and dance, then hack. And in the new normal way, maybe same sake, same snacks or meals on the online meeting should be fine. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. So the time is come.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you very much. So if you have some questions, please share the comment and with the hashtag. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.